Reprogramming the subconscious means conscious wishes and desires, subconscious mind program. Well, what if you took the wishes and desires and made those programs? Then guess what? You don't even have to think about it. You will automatically, 95% of the day, be playing behaviors to manifest those wishes and desires. If you put a pair of earphones on at night with a program of what you would like to be true in your life, as soon as your conscious mind disconnects, that program is playing. It's not playing into your conscious mind, that's shut off. It's now going straight into the subconscious mind. Having a positive thought does not in any way necessitate that those positive thoughts actually manifest themselves. And there's a piece that was left out. And if you don't understand the piece, then you're shouting into the wind with your positive thoughts. Nothing's going to happen. And the fact is this, when you're having positive thoughts, you're using your mind. The mind influences biology, but there are two parts to the mind that are completely different than one another, yet they work together. We confuse them, we tie them together, and yet they represent two entities working in two different fashions. There's the conscious mind and what is called the subconscious mind. Now, here's what very important, people have to know this, okay, and here's what it is. The conscious mind is our creative mind that is connected to our personal identity and our spiritual selves. That makes us all unique. Each of us has our own personal conscious mind. But what becomes very significant is this, is the subconscious mind is equivalent to a tape player. It's exactly what it is. It records experiences and then plays them back. And so now let's take a look and say, well, wait, there's a thinking mind, and then there's a tape player mind. And what's different about them is very profound. When you look at the power between the conscious and subconscious is a million times more powerful. The subconscious mind runs our biology about 95 to 99% of the time. So while you're having all these wonderful thoughts, that's not the conscious mind's not running the show. It's a subconscious mind. So blaming the subconscious mind as a negative thing, that's the first mistake. It's a tape player. The programs that we got, that's the source of the problems that most of us face. And these programs could limit our abilities and take away our powers, which essentially they do. Now, the relevance about positive thinking is this. Positive thinking is a creative thought that comes from the conscious mind. Okay, so I sit here and I'm going to have all these wonderful thoughts. I'm going to close my eyes and visualize all these wonderful things. Now stop and go back to the mechanical character of it. I'm having these thoughts with a little tiny processor called the conscious mind, and I'm competing with the programs that are in the subconscious mind. So if I have a thought for being healthy or being in a good relationship, and I'm doing positive thinking, and at the same time, I have acquired programs in my development that said, you're not as healthy as you think you are, and you're not that good a person to have those kind of relationships. Then look, I'm now pitting my positive thoughts against my programs, and they're opposite. But this one works on a little tiny processor, and this processor is a million times more powerful. So right away, it's like, who's going to win in that challenge? The answer, of course, the subconscious is going to win, okay? But here comes the other part. While I can try to maintain positive thoughts in my life using my conscious mind, this conscious mind only operates less than 5% of the day. That says 95% or more of the day, I'm operating from the other belief system. The point is, do the math. How powerful are positive thoughts? And the answer is, unless the subconscious has the same programs in agreement as the conscious mind, power of positive thinking will not work. It will not work because you're competing against a much more powerful processor. So the idea is, when life doesn't work, when you don't find that relationship that your positive thinking was looking for, when you don't get that health that you were looking for because your positive thinking was asking for it, we have a tendency, therefore, to blame the outside world because, as far as I know, my intention was for all these wonderful things. And when I don't get it, it can't be me because I have all these wonderful positive intentions. What we didn't see was, while we were having those positive intentions, using our conscious mind for those positive intentions, the subconscious was running the show. And we didn't see that we generally sabotage and destroy or limit our own lives with behaviors that are not supporting us. Every night when you go to bed, just when you're just falling off into sleep, consciousness is disconnecting. The next period of your brain operation while your consciousness is disconnected is theta, which is the same brain function as in the first 7 years. So if you put a pair of earphones on at night with a program of what you would like to be true in your life, as soon as your conscious mind disconnects, that program is playing. It's not playing into your conscious mind, that's shut off. It's now going straight into the subconscious mind. So it's called auto-hypnosis. You don't need to go see a hypnotherapist. You just have to pick out what program would you like to have that you don't have, and they sell these programs at all kinds of places. Okay. So reprogramming the subconscious with wishes and desires means you don't even have to think about it. You will be successful because 95% of the day, your program automatically will be seeking your wishes.
Hello. Hello. Good evening, all. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please type in yes. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please type in yes. Hello. Okay. Good evening, all. You're welcome to today's Forex Outlook for the 2nd of October 2019 with Great White FX. So, once again, I welcome you all. I took the time to play this the program you listened to. The person talking, his name is Dr. Bruce Lipton, as you can see on the screen. His name is Dr. Bruce Lipton. You can check him out on YouTube. He's I would say he's well versed in the mind and how it works. And once you understand how your mind works, then you know how to apply it to your life. And your mind is your greatest asset in your trading career. It is not the strategy, it is your mind. Because a lot of you, I was talking to some of my students, some of you have traded and you've lost money on your live account. That even when you go back to demo, you are afraid of losing on your demo. So you need to be able to take care of that negative behavior and program. So that aside, let's get down to business for today. So as always, we always start with our calendar, our scheduled news release for the day. So tomorrow we have tomorrow is 2nd, which is Wednesday. We have 1:15 ADP North Farm employment change. Then 3:30 we have crude oil inventories. Note that all these times are West African Central Time. So apart from that, nothing else. We have a cool Thursday, except for this high impact news. So tomorrow is going to be a little bit light, nothing major. So let's go into our charts for today to see how our pairs are looking like on their daily closes. So we'll look at this pair. We're going to start with the dollar index. As always, we start with the dollar index. We're looking at the dollar index. We have this bearish formation on the dollar index. Then, if we go down into our intraday chart, we can see it is sitting at a support structure. So if you ask me, the daily is already pointing to potential of further weakness. So I would say you wait for a pullback into this zone or this high. You see this high? That's what you have here. So if price does this, rallies up into this place, price rallies up into that place, that's into this area and gets rejected, then you can take a short position. But should it close above this zone, then you might see something like this to the top side. So that's what you need to be aware of on the dollar index. So you need to be aware of that to be able to know how to place your trades. So the next paper we're going to look at is gold. So looking at gold from a daily point of view, we can see that gold broke this zone here. Then what most likely might have happened today is a retest of this zone. But on the intraday bias, This is the storyline now. That zone on the daily, this is it here on the intraday. You see gold dropped into this zone and immediately took off. So now the scenario is this. If it does not close back below 1478, that's if it does not close back below 1478, you might see gold move higher. But should it close back below 1478, then this is what you might most likely see. This is what you might most likely see on gold. So this is the scenario on gold for now. Daddy, what is it like to call out? So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the USD, excuse me, USD CHF. So looking at the USD CHF, well, price seems to have rejected from this zone. This is what you might call a dark cloud cover. This is what you might call a dark cloud cover, and it's a bearish pattern. That's a candle that closes more than 3/4 into the body of the prior candle. That's at least, it must close 50%. And if you look at this candle, it has closed more than 50%. That's this bearish candle is more than 50% of the prior bullish candle. So we might have a little bit of weakness tomorrow. So how do you trade that on your intraday? You go down to your intraday, you already have this rejection here. So if you ask me, what you can do is, on this daily candle, you just take your fib from the top to the low and trade the pullback. If it pulls back, should it pull back and start to come back down, then you can trade the trade. So it might pull back. You might see a bit of a pullback into this area, then a continuation, or it may drop into here and bounce. That's the scenario we have on this pair. So the next pair we're going to look at is Euro USD. So looking at the Euro USD from the daily, well, the pair seems to have closed bullish. The pair seems to have closed bullish. This is a bullish piercing pattern. Remember, the USD CHF has the opposite of a bullish piercing is a dark cloud. So that's what we have here. This is a bullish pattern, and it is happening at a support structure. So, like I said on the USD CHF, you can just take a fib from the low to the high and wait for pullback, because most likely it might pull back. So if we look at it, it is sitting at a resistance structure now. So sorry for the break. So that's what we have here now. So the most important thing is this: you might see a bit of a pullback, and if that should happen, then you have a left, a head, and a probable right shoulder. So that's why I said you just need to, it might pull back before going back up, and that pullback might give you the left shoulder. And then you have this little trend line here. So once they're able to break above this trend line, something like this, then you know they are moving higher. But watch this level. If price stays above this level, that's on a pullback, they need to stay above this level to continue higher. So the next pair we're going to look at is the Euro GBP. So looking at the Euro GBP, somebody says, where is best to take trade in the zone? Is it on the borderline or within? You need to be outside the zone. Don't worry, as we're going now, look for another example to show you. So looking at this, um, this is a bullish move. This candle, I can't really see, but if I look at this chart from an intraday move, it's still looking bullish. Why is this still looking bullish? There is a channel here. Do you see this channel? It's a very, very long channel. It's a very, very long one. So now the question is, it needs to break this entire zone. It needs to break it. So now the person asking where is best to take the trade in the zone. This is a resistance zone. You take the trade outside the zone. You don't take it inside. If you want to take, you need to be either above it for a long or below it for a sell, depending on where the zone is. If the zone is support, above for a long, below for a short. In this case, is a resistance, below for sell, above for long. So in this situation, what you'll be expecting is something like this to continue the bullish move. But there is a line in the sand. I always call it a line in the sand. That's a level that needs to hold for the continuation to happen. This level here. If you notice, price came in here and took off. So now that's the momentum must continue. But the way the daily is looking, let's see how it plays out. So the next pair, but for the Euro GBP, it still may move higher. So the next pair we're going to look at is the GBP USD. So looking at the GBP USD, it did drop, but before the market closed, it rallied back up. And if you notice, this area that I pointed out, they made sure they closed back above it. So if we go back now to our intraday chart, question is, how are we going to play this? Just straight into the zone and bounce up. So now if you ask me, as long as it stays above this zone, it's going to continue. Maybe just ask me. Because sometimes, like I always tell my students, sometimes it is easy to see, sometimes it's not easy to see. When it is not easy to see, don't force it. Just don't force it. So if you ask me, if this man comes in here and this area holds, he may move on. But should he break, then something like this, then take a short position. If you ask me, this level has held. So if they come in here and it holds the second time, then they might go back up. But it might, if they come back the second time, because we already have dollar weakness. So the next pair we're going to look at is the GBP CHF. Looking at the GBP CHF from the daily. The deal with this GBP CHF is, if you look at him on the weekly, he has an evening star formation. And if you use the fib, like I always say, if you pick the high to the low, you can see what price did today was what price did today was to rally slightly above the 61.8 and drop. So now the next scenario here is, if we look at this intraday, on our intraday setup, let me get rid of some of these levels now. Get rid of this. This has been taken out. And move this into this area. So now the deal is, you can see it tested this zone and bounced. So now the question is this: if it comes in here and this place holds as support, it's going to move up into this area. But should it break this area, do this, then you're going to see something like this. That's it for USD CHF. Because looking at the daily, looking at it on the daily flows, you could see it doesn't seem to be bearish nor bullish. Kind of like a wide-bodied doji candle. So it's an indecision candle, but we just need to be careful. So it's not very clear. So you just need to be careful trading it. So the next pair we're going to look at is the USD JPY. So looking at this USD JPY, this is a bearish engulfing. You can see it's a bearish engulfing, but the challenge is that it's sitting on the daily 13 moving average. So there is a potential that it might bounce. But if you look at this trend line held. and this upper resistance. So we now go down into this chart. What you might see is the same system. You take a fib from the top to the low. That's just what you need to do here. So you from here to this low and see if it will pull up into this area. If it gets rejected from here, it's going to come down. But should it break above here, then you know price is going to move higher. So that's it for this pair. That's just it. And if you notice, there was a trend line here. There's a trend line here that has been broken. So that's what we need to be aware of this pair. This pair, the daily close is bearish. So, but you can't take this trade straight up. You just need to see it to rally a bit, then you take your short position. The next pair we're going to look at is the Euro Yen. Euro Yen is not looking so interesting. It's bottoming out here. Because if you go to the weekly, this is a weekly swing level. That's where this fib came from. You see, it's sitting above the 61.8 and this anchor candle here, this bullish anchor candle. So that's what the low of that bullish anchor candle has been holding. They've not been able to close below it. So you can see these bearish candles are thinning out and it is sitting above here. So there's a potential this man may rally up. So this is just a scenario. If it stays above this zone, it might move higher. But if it breaks below it, then you know it's going down. So the next pair we're going to look at is a GBP JPY. Looking at this GBP JPY, almost the same thing. Just almost looking like the same thing. Looking like the same thing. This daily close is an indecision candle, wicks on both sides. But they made sure they did not close below 132.27. They made sure they did not close that. The daily close most times is very, very vital. As you can see, this area has been serving as support. They made sure they didn't close below it. So now, for you to be sure of a short on this trade, they need to go below 132.22. You need to see a 4-hour close, a retest, and a rejection to the downside. If not, it might just dip in here and move back up again. So that's how this trade is going to play out. So you just need to be aware of that. Although it's tilted to the downside, but it's meeting stiff buyers at this area. So you need to see all the buyers at this area taking out for further downside move. So the next pair we're going to look at is the AUD-USD. So looking at the AUD-USD, it's closed bearish today, but at this prior low. So you can see it has there is a, what will I call this now? There's a spike below this prior low. So that might mean stops at this level might have been activated. So if we go into our chart, we can already see this move here. We can see this bullish evidence here. So now the question is, what do you expect? So two things. This pair might continue up to this area, or wait for this and move lower. But for now, it's still bearish, but he's bouncing off a support level. So you need to be careful here. The next pair we're going to look at is EUR/USD. Looking at the EUR/USD, EUR/USD closed very, 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 very bearish, very, very bullish. But now the storyline is, see this area, that's where it's having a bit of a problem. So it needs to take out here. So, and like what I said before, what you need to do is you take your fib from the low to the high, then you wait, then you wait. Then you wait. It might pull back because this is a big momentum candle. You don't take a buy here straight. You wait for it to pull back because this level is giving it a bit of a problem. So it might pull back. So if you go to your intraday chart, you wait for it to pull back. So most likely, you might see it pull back to this level. If this level holds, then they might try to take out this resistance zone, or they may try lower. But as long as this low holds, they might move higher. So that's how you just take this trade if you're to take this trade. And if you look at it from the 4 hour, you can see this is a move. This is like what you would call a bull flag. This is like what you call a bull flag. Let me show you. This low, connect these two lows, and then you have something here. So this is like a bull flag of sorts. So you need to see what happens here. So the next pair we're going to look at is the GBP card, the GBP AUD. Let's see how he closed off on the daily. The same thing too. So the same thing like I said on this one, you just take your fee from here to here. Because if you see a good sell setup, you can take it, but you need to know where your exit point is. So if you take this sell, you need to know where your exit point is, and you need to know where your target is. Because if you take this sell, your stop loss is going to go above here. So you need to be aware of that. So the next pair and the last pair we're going to look at is the USD card. So now, like I've been saying for some days, this pair, excuse me, sorry about this. This pair has been holding above this blue zone. So now we have a 4-hour momentum close below it. Now let's see how it looks like on the daily. Well, still not much. Still not much. Let me show you why I say still not much. Come in. Let me hide all this. Do you see this red candle? Do you see this green candle? This bullish candle? They are lows. This is a bullish anchor candle. This is a bullish anchor candle. If I pull back the lows, do you see this level here? That's 132.08. And if you go to the intraday, that 132.08 is somewhere here. Somewhere here. Somewhere here. So do you see it? So now on the USD card, still not yet over. But this move, if you want to short it on the daily, the same method, you use a fib, and if it pulls back into this zone and doesn't go above it, then you might take a short down to either here or this area. So that's it for today. I thank you all for taking your time to attend today's lecture classes. If you have any questions, this is my Facebook handle, this is my Twitter handle, this is my Instagram handle, and this is my YouTube channel. This video will be posted on the YouTube channel. If you have questions, you could go and watch it there. The chat I use in the videos will be posted on the Instagram page. If you have any questions, you can reach me out on my Telegram handle, or you give me a call. The links to the Zoom, if you want to attend this Zoom, maybe you're always watching it on the recording and you want to attend it live, you can always get the link from any of these Facebook channels, Facebook pages. So I thank you all for taking your time to attend. I wish you all a beautiful night's sleep and a blessed trading day ahead. Thank you all for coming.